Michael Senpai Findus here at RTX for Day 5 premiere of Episode 3 for Ultness.
What am I supposed to do?
Pete's me. Just don't fall asleep.
For those who aren't necessarily caught up, even though the first 2 episodes are out, yeah, brief summation, Day 5, what it's about.
Alright, so Day 5 is the story of an apocalypse where at 3 a.m. randomly at night, sleep became lethal. So everyone who was sleeping is dead, and the only people left in the world are those who are up at 3 a.m. Basically a group of characters who are 5 days into this apocalypse, who have not slept for 5 days, trying to either, one, find a cure or stop what is happening.
Like, how did Day 5 originate?
It was originally Bernie Burns' concept from maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it was considered as possibly the first feature that Rooster Teeth was going to do before Laser Team even. And then at a certain point it evolved into, I think, a mini-series, and then when Chris and I came on board 3 years ago, it was going to be just kind of a high-concept short film. So we wrote that, they actually shot it, and that ended up becoming more of a conceptual short for the series itself. And so once people saw the short, they're like, yeah, we should make this bigger. And so here we are.
Sugar, and then caffeine, and then cigarettes, now the hard drugs aren't even working! Tell me you can't feel it! Tell me it's not getting worse!
So, obviously this is like kind of a, I wouldn't say a grand departure, but more of a move towards like dramatic work, like thrillers and sci-fi and suspense. So what's it been like to kind of play in that area? Obviously there's still humor in the series, but what was it like kind of moving more towards that serious tone?
It was fun. I mean, for me personally, that was more my background anyway. Before coming to Rooster Teeth, I wrote a lot more thriller and sci-fi and dramatic stuff. So actually a lot of my stuff for Rooster Teeth was my first comedic. But Chris, I think we've always been big fans of time travel and I mean just general sci-fi lore in general.
I think it's important that people start taking Rooster Teeth seriously.
Yeah, we're tired of them not taking Rooster Teeth seriously. So
I couldn't agree more, Jeff Daniels and Perry. Were there any like particular inspirations? I know you'd mentioned that you'd looked at series like AMC, I think in one of your podcasts, looking at a lot of their series. Were there any like specific shows other than like Breaking Bad that you found inspiration from, like sci-fi thrillers or anything like that?
Stuff that had like a certain level of intensity to it, like 28 Days Later. This is not sci-fi, but I looked at Crank, the Crank series with Jason Statham. But I think Breaking Bad was our biggest focal point in terms of especially making sure there was humor in it, because we were really big about that, because so much other apocalyptic lore takes itself so seriously and it's like sad fate, you know?
Dark all the time.
Yeah.
The humor is so well done too, because it really helps to break the tension, so kudos to both of you guys. In fact, are there any like comedic moments like from the show, from any of the episodes, I guess, that kind of really stand out in your mind that you can reveal? Obviously, we want to avoid spoilers.
I mean, I've always liked the Twister mat reveal in the pilot.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen it, there's a Twister mat somewhere, but that was Chris's joke.
Yeah, it's just like, I think it's a weird, anytime you're mixing like death and like comedy, it's really dark, but it's fun.
Yeah, and what's fun about, I mean, you're 5 days into this apocalypse, like, you know, 95% of the world is dead, and so like people's deaths, you know, if you like the character, there's a little more resonance, but if it's random people, you can almost play it for more humor, because it's just like, it's so, everything is so awful, what else can you do but laugh, you know?
There was a really great in episode 2, without giving away who the cameo is, but someone comes in and they're basically in a morgue, and he pulls out one of the tables and just gets on the morgue and just goes to sleep. Yeah. And that's just such a great scene. So again,
that was the most expensive scene in that episode, because we had to construct a morgue wall for that one. That, like, I think the scene is maybe a minute long. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much, by the way. Love the suits. So again, be sure to check out Day 5 at roosterteeth.com.